Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Well, here we are again. We've got another project, and this is a small piece of a much bigger project that I'm working on, but I thought I'd bring you in for this one because it's going to be pretty, well, a little bit interesting. So let's pull in, hit closer, and see what we got. Okay, well, a month or two ago, this guy gives me a call and says, hey, I've got some spurs I want you to make for me. I'm like, oh, okay, I think I can do that. So he sends me this example spur. It's kind of rusty and beaten up and everything, but it tells me what he wants. And where we're at today, and I've made, I can't remember how many I've made, maybe 10 of them. So where we're at today is this little flap thing here. Now what happens is the leather straps to this and goes over the top of the boot to hold the spur in place. This thing needs to rotate fairly smoothly. Now I'm going to get one of my other, this is a straightened out version of that. We haven't bent it yet. And so we take this, and this goes into those two holes right there, right? And then that, let's see if we can get it. This goes into the two holes. The problem is that if you press this down onto that spur, the arch here is going to actually bend the spur itself, or the shank itself. So what I need to do, and it needs to be this close in order to stay inside of that groove, because if it's outside of the groove, this little flap can move one way or the other on this little strap, or this little piece of round stock here. So we have to flatten out the arch here, get rid of this radius. And so, thought about it while I've been working on these guys, and basically what I've been doing is doing a taper on this, and then we're gonna bend this around and then weld the shank onto the back of it here. So and we're this far, so now it's time to work on this part here. So here's what I've come up with. I think what I'm gonna do is drill 2 holes down into this piece of 8620 and get them and go all the way through, and then reduce a gap in between those with a piece of or with a bullnose bit, that this will fit inside of there, right? And then from there we'll heat this up. Well, of course we'll heat treat this because it's 8620. It's heat treatable, and then we'll heat this up and set it. Actually, we'll set it in the old holes themselves. Then take the torch and heat it up real quick, and get it red hot, and then put it in the press. Boom! Hit it and press it down, and hopefully that'll square up this edge. And also at the same time make this part, because this is somewhat arched, which means that this thing doesn't move freely. Well, it moves freely right there, but once you get it over here, it's a struggle. So we're going to do that, and that's the job today. So follow along. We're going to have some fun. And I know it's not really necessary, but we're going to find center for both of these. And let's get started. All right, there's center. Now, get our drill bit in there. And that's a 3/16 drill bit. And if we're on dead center right now, almost, hang on, there's center. Then this wants to be, well, actually, let's not do it with that. Let's do it with one of the actual spurs. We'll go outside to outside. So we're looking at 1,275, 1,275. That's outside to outside. 1,275 minus 187, no, 185, let's just round it up, minus 0.185, 1090. That's our total width, so divide that by 2, it'd be 545. Okay, 545. That looks about right. Let's just put a little dimple in there and see what we got. And then we go to 545 on the other side. And, well, we can just put our piece up here. And that looks pretty good. All right, I think we can just drill that. All right, we got that part. Now we take the whole thing apart and do it again. Well, not do this exact thing again, but we're going to create a web in between those two. And we'll come back for that. Okay, so we've got ourselves a 3/16 bit. We're gonna come back into center. Oops. Let's take it all the way down. And then 545. And then half of 3/16. 1875. $93.5. Okay, 93.5. So we want to come up 93. 1, 2, 3.5. And that should have us where we want to be. Now just travel across, and we should have half of that. Okay, that's pretty much has what we want. Let's see if this thing is going to fit in there. I'm sure it is. I'm guessing that we just tap it a little bit and it'll adjust. Okay, let's try one side. Yeah, one side goes in nicely. The other side goes in nicely. So all we have to do is get this thing to almost. Still too big. There we go. Okay, that's going to go down. So, now getting it back out could be a problem. Well, we got the shape. That's all we really need at the moment. I'm thinking maybe we could make those holes just a little bit bigger. I don't think it's going to bother anything. Just a smidge. Let me go over and see if I got a drill bit that'll go a little bit bigger, and I'll be back. All right, well, we drilled it a couple of sizes bigger just to get this thing to slide in and out fairly easily, and it's still a bit of a fight, but it does go in, and that's pretty much all we need. Now what we need is something is the same thing except with a half round up here, so I don't end up crushing this. So let's go ahead and figure that out. I'm going to go over my metal bin, my exotic metal bin, and see what we got. I'll take you over there. All right, you see my stash here. All of this is exotic metals. You can see 4140 in there, and I mark them with ink or with paint just to keep it from wearing off. And sometimes I'll mark it by stamping the numbers into it. Can you see that? Yeah. So, and I found a piece here. This is 4140. I think this piece came from the triple clamps that I did, oh, I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that. And I think what we can do is flatten that, put our groove in there, and then the press, you know, flatten this out a little bit, and the press would press down in the center here, and then it could rock and work its way down. Of course, the press, you know, it'll do it in 2 seconds or a half a second. But let's take this back to the mill and see what we got. Okay, this piece is a little bit wider, just a little bit, and then of course a little bit wider this way too. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and take off these corners, flatten that out, and then we'll have something to work from. And I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and just mark these approximately where I want it. Let's take this beast out. That looks pretty good. Yep. All right. We'll do the top first. All right, that's a good start. Yeah, we got one little chip there. Yeah.
You didn't get much of a fire going.
No, I got a fire going. It's just cold.
I know there's more.
Well, that grabbed a little fast, huh? Okay. As long as we didn't break nothing. A little under where I wanted it to be, but I think it's going to be fine. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, we're going to take this bit out. We're going to put our bullnose bit back in, and we're going to bullnose a slot right across the top of this. Still seems like more, but hey, it's there. All right, that looks pretty good. It's not exactly center, but we don't really need it to be. We just need it to sit on top of that. Now I left a little burr here accidentally, so I think what I'm going to do is just go over to the grinder and grind it off. Okay, while I had the camera off, I went in and cut and threaded a rod so we could have a handle for this. And I think a handle is important because all of this is going to be fairly warm when we start working with it. So, we're sitting with a Q drill, which is the size for 3/8, and I'm going to get a little more centered. That should be deep enough. All right, 3/8 24. 3/8 24. Looking good. Okay. Take our drill bit out. Regular tap. Pretty good. And a little bit of oil. And there's one. Put our little handle in, see how it fits. Looking good. Nice. Okay, there's one. Now we're going to do the second one, the top or the hammer. Okay, we got it. We'll put the arm in, and the next thing we're going to do is a little heat treating. We'll be back. Okay, so we're going to use this cherry red material. I got a hit from that from Keith Fenner on one of his videos. So, and this will be the first time I used it. So it says to take and make my part cherry red, bring it over, and get a bunch of this material on the part you want to harden. Looking good. And then it says just put it back in and let it heat back up again. Whoops, that one's not quite cherry red. Well, we got one of them in there at least. And yeah, you can see we got ourselves a new resident in the barn. Sita. She's busy eating. So yeah, our old cat, you know, went on to the other life. So hopefully we got a new one here, and hopefully she's a mouser, so we can get rid of some of the rats around here. But yeah, whatever, it's a barn. Okay, so we're back to this, but we've got to let that heat up a bit more. Okay, we're all set up here. I did finish heat treating and cleaning it up off camera. So now we're ready to try our first one. We'll go right there, and we're going to heat the wire up, or the round stock, because it's pretty big. It looks pretty good. Now we need to do is punch out the back side. We're set. Okay, so just take a punch. That thing dropped right out. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it did it. Look at that. Nice sharp corners. Okay, let me answer that phone.